Hello, everyone. Atlantic Digest named Dele Farotimi as Man of the Year. What do you think about that? As for me, Dele Farotimi is very much deserving of that title, Man of the Year, and many more. Why do I say that? Dele Farotimi is one person that has always stood for what is right. He has always spoken against injustice, always being on the side of truth. And he's the one that says that thing, that very thing that a lot of people are just afraid to talk about. And this year, oh no, rather, this is 2025. Last year, December last year, 2024, we saw what happened to Mr. Dele Farotimi, where police abducted him and from his office in Lagos and took him all the way to Ekiti. Why? Because he wrote a book called The Criminal Justice System in Nigeria or of Nigeria, and he mentioned some names. One of the names that he mentioned, Afe Babalola, decided that he was going to actually show us all why Dele Farotimi wrote that book. Like I've always said before, and I'm going to repeat it today, Afe Babalola has every right to sue Dele Farotimi and take him to court if he feels that what Dele Farotimi wrote in his book defamed him, maligned him, or libeled him. But what Afe Babalola did not have a right to was to use the police. That even though the police is a willing tool of oppression for anyone who can afford them, but he didn't have a right to use them to oppress him, to abduct him, take him to a state, and even charge him for a crime that is not a crime. Well, we saw all of that happening. We saw Dele Farotimi at the end of the day getting his bill. The matter still continues. And how unbroken he is, resolute and standing and going on and being such a tower of strength. Dele Farotimi has shown every one of us that we are as strong as our weakest link and as weak as our strongest link. And that if we come together and put our voices and raise our voices on issue, we will always win. For those who try to bring us down one after the other, they can't succeed if we stand together and do not allow the division that will happen. Like Dele Farotimi said when he came out, that people stood for him. Nigerians came together and stood for him. And for a moment, we were all united across different religion, different tribe, different gender, different age, different economic status, and also different educational background. We all stood against injustice. So yes, I do believe that Dele Farotimi is deserving of that title, Man of the Year. He has done so much for us Nigerians, and he's still doing more, and he continues to do more. May God bless him. What do you think about this? Just let me know in the comment section. Put it down there. And I'm going to leave you now with some of different of Dele Farotimi's, videos, things he said and stuff like that. Let's appreciate this human being that we have in Nigeria, as a Nigeria, who is not afraid of using his voice, who is out there speaking against injustice. And there was something he said when he came out, when he broke down crying, and he said Nigeria did not happen to him because you added your voice to that whole thing. Thank you so much, everyone. And please enjoy some of Dele Farotimi moment. Bye.
We stopped being human because we became Nigerians. They divided us and we fell for it. Because you wouldn't see me as a Yoruba man, you spoke for me. Because you wouldn't see me as a Christian, you spoke for me. Because you spoke. Because you spoke. Because you spoke. Because you spoke, Nigeria couldn't happen to me. Because you spoke. The only reason Nigeria couldn't happen to me is because you spoke. You spoke. That is why Nigeria couldn't happen to me. And yeah, Nigeria couldn't happen to me. Emu, Eki, Biteru Reko. You found your voices. I became you. And in our collective, you couldn't be silenced. And the thing I need all of you to know is this. I am not unmindful of the sacrifices that you have made to be here today. May the grace of God find and locate you wherever you are. Amen. It is not ever an easy journey when you are fighting evil.
Yes.
But some years back, before I started this work, God told me very clearly, and I heard it very clearly. He says, once have I spoken. Once has he spoken, twice have I heard. He says, the truth is enough. It is the only weapon by which you can slay the monster called Nigeria. The truth, nothing else. In my public advocacy, in my fight and my wars against this evil empire that we all live in, I have never lied against anyone. Yeah. If I don't know, I'll say I don't know. That's true.
I'm saying that Ariafe Babalola corrupted the judiciary. And in corrupting the judiciary, it came across my practice. When I came across it, I challenged it as a lawyer and I fought it to the point where he could not enjoy the fruit of his exertion in the Supreme Court. In writing the letter that he wrote to the then Chief Justice of Lagos State, Ayomide Philip, he libeled me and I sued him for libel. And when I sued for libel, the machines of corruption went into overdrive, and a case that should never have been killed at the preliminary stage was killed. If Ariafe Babalola was the only person who is licensed to enjoy that level of impunity, that's different. It's not about him. It's a system-wide problem. You simply can't get justice from the system.
So your decision at the time, which was pretty close to my exit date, was a timely reminder. So you're right. It was a reminder of what I had to do, because there is no way I could have remained in legal practice and be who I am today. It's not possible. It's almost impossible to look at the Chief Justice of Nigeria and call him the corrupt man that he is if I was still going to be standing before a judge to say, my Lord. But that's the truth. So it was one of the sacrifices that had to be made, and it wasn't a very easy sacrifice to make in the moment. But I'm thankful to God today for your timely reminder and for the grace to walk away. I'm thankful to God for it.
This book is 11 years in the making. It's been a very painful book to write. All I have done is that I have given a truthful account of what I have seen within the judicial system. And it has taken the loss of the judiciary for Nigeria to become the useless place it has more or less become now. For anybody to be a citizen, for a society to have citizens, you must be found on the rule of law. It would mean that both the governed and the governors are equally bound by the law. It must mean that the judiciary is one that deals with people blindfolded. But in a situation where instead of us being ruled by law, even at the most elementary level, we're governed by the will of men, no matter how perfect those men might be, they remain men. And it simply means that for as long as we are ruled by the will of men, we're subject to their whims and caprices. The level of corruption that I witnessed in this case, the brazenness of it, is not suggestive of somebody who is coming to the rodeo for the first time. This is a well-practiced person. This is the norm for these persons. No matter how corrupt a judicial system might be, there are certain precepts and norms. It's like I want to count 1 to 3, and then I'm looking to skip 2. So I just say 1, 3. Where is the 2? So there should be some order, some processes by which you arrive at a particular decision. That is why the court have rules. But when you see the highest judicial body in the country flouting its own rules and acting in a manner that is suggestive of impunity, then you know that something is very abnormal in that situation. When people become so powerful that they don't even care
or believe that they are subject to any law. The law does not apply to them. The brazen impunity by which they did what they did made it impossible for, maybe somebody else might have been able to find peace and walk away and be telling the story when they sit amongst their friends and they are sharing beer and cognac. But I'm not interested in beer parlor talk.